All right, here we go. Hi. Okay, I haven't talked to you for most of this video because I tend to turn on music when I paint and, you know, just jam. So I'm going to have to put my own music in over this video and some voiceover because I don't want to get a copyright strike for using, you know, other folks' music. But what I want to explain to you right now is you saw how I painted the canvas to start with. The reason that I do that instead of going right in with whatever design I'm going to do is because that's called underpainting. When you paint, cover the whole canvas with paint. And ideally you want it to be paint that's in the mood or similar color to what you want your final design to be. And that just makes sure you don't have like white spaces peeking through once you put your actual design on there. Just cover the whole canvas and then you go back in and work it. I used something called retarder here. This is, here, can we focus? Can we focus? There we go. Retarder, because I tend to paint slowly. I learned to paint using oil paints and they dry very, very slowly. So it gives you time to think and, you know, lean back and look at it and all that. Acrylics will dry up on you if you do all those things. So I use a retarder in order to keep them wet for a longer time so that I can take the time that I need and get it the way that I want. So did the underpainting. Then I went back and started putting some little features on top. This right here, this line, that was the first line I drew after I did the underpainting, and that's my horizon line. So that lets me know where I want the water to begin. So then I went back in and I started, you know, painting in the water. And now I put the sun there, and now I'm painting the colors that would bounce off of the water, you know, if there's the sun, okay? So that's what's going on. And I'm going to turn my music back on. All right. Okay, so the reason I'm able to do this with acrylics is because acrylic dries to the equivalent of plastic. So, and I think it might already be dry, to be honest. Oh shoot! See, I don't like to work this fast. That's why I prefer oils. It gives me a little more control. Okay, I can fix it. I wanted to smudge that a bit, but I didn't work fast enough. So here we go. Let's go back in. Yeah, when acrylic dries, it's on there. It ain't coming off. But you can paint over it, which is, you know, that's a good thing. All right. So here, let's put some of that over. Let's see, smudge it before it dries. Okay. All right. I'm making a mess over here, but it happens. You know, it happens, and then you just find a workaround. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. Dang it. That's the thing about acrylics, is they dry really fast. And once they dry, it's permanent. Okay, now, here, let me put a little blue, get a little water on this brush, and just kind of go in there, and it'll dry down. It looks bright right now, but it will, hold on. Yeah, it looks bright to my eye. I guess it doesn't look as bright on camera, but just go in there and work it out a little bit. Mix the colors. When I used to study at a studio, my instructor would always tell me, no fear from the dark. He was Israeli. That was his way of saying, don't be afraid of the dark. No fear from the dark. Because I was always afraid to use dark colors. I thought they would just be overwhelming. And he's like, you cannot have light without dark. Like you know, if you paint everything light, it's going to look bland. So it has to have that contrast of dark and light. So I did the whole background dark, as you saw. And now I'm going in and I'm just adding lightness here and there. And the last level of any, like I've built the sun up, giving it a little white in the middle. But the last level, for me at least, is always pale yellow or white when I'm doing a highlight. I don't know. I don't consider myself an expert. This is a hobby. I love it. It's like therapy for me, and I don't know what other people do. So I'm only speaking for me, but that's, you know, it's like dark colors, the richness, and then the highlight, the little pop of white or yellow, you know, something to set it off. So I'm not done. I'll be back. Okay, so now I'm going back in and I'm adding more. It looks like white, I'm sure. Oh no, it looks like, okay, it's light blue. It's actually, it's white with a smidge of blue in it. And I'm not painting from a photo or anything. I just kind of looked at the canvas and decided what I was going to try today. When I was studying, we weren't allowed to do that because the teacher couldn't tell whether we were improving or not. If we're like, oh, I just painted this thing that was in my head, you know, as opposed to a photo he could look at. He was like, well, how do I know if it's, you know, if you're going in the right direction or not? I don't know what's in your head. I put a little more white on my brush. I'm going to go in and just highlight certain areas with my little skinny brush. And then sometimes you get more paint on your brush than you intended. And you just go back in with the dark color and color over it, paint over it. Take some of the, you got too much light or whatever, you can take some out very easily. Okay, let's see how it looks on camera. Oh, I like that, I like it. Just white. Look at my hands. I used to keep my nails done until I started painting. And I would always mess up my manicure. And so then before the pandemic, I would keep my toes done, but right now they look like cloven hooves. After the no spin challenge is over, I will be going to get a pedicure. I consider that personal care, and I'm offended when I look at my feet right now. I've been doing pedicures myself throughout the pandemic, but I don't do them as well as the professionals. So I want to go see somebody who, you know, this is what they do. We need more light. Oops. Hold on. Gotta clean my brush. Dipped in the wrong thing. Okay. Here we go. Let's get a little white. Oh, I like that. Yeah, right here, this is where I was working. A little more, yeah, I like that. Just little specks. You don't need, well, that wasn't a speck. I didn't intend to do that, but it's all right. It's all right. Just little specks here and there. Because when you look out at water, it's constantly moving. Like in real life, you look at water, it's constantly moving. You may see a color, you may see a shape. It's there for a second, and then it's gone, because water is moving. Large bodies of water are moving. Okay. All right. And a smidge more orange wouldn't hurt. Mix that. Hold on. Red and yellow, red and yellow, red and yellow. No, that's not the song. It's black and yellow. But that's going to be the song today. Little flashes of color. I know a lot of people will say that they can't paint because they can't draw, but the skills are different. I can draw basic things, but I don't draw well. But I can paint. And again, when I was at the studio, my instructor, Ellie, I miss working with him. One of the things that he would tell me, because I would draw something, then erase, and then draw something else, and then erase, just trying to get it right, trying to get it to look like whatever picture I was painting that week. And he would come to me and he would just laugh and he would say, well, if you draw enough lines, one of them is bound to be right. And we would just laugh together, and I'd do the best I could, and sometimes he would help me correct something, and then I'd paint. But you do not have to know how to draw to paint. They're two different skills. You just got to be real light with this. I want some like sun rays. Oh, that wasn't light. Hold on. Sun rays to just radiate out from. Is that okay? It's okay. If I screw it up, I can paint over it. So I'm not going to trip too much. This looks like an alien encounter right now. Here. Yeah, it just needs to be real faint. Let me grab some water on my brush and see. Oh, acrylics, they just dry so friggin' fast. With oil, you paint, and you reach a certain point where you just cannot paint anymore on that oil, you know, on top of oil that you've already painted. You have to give it a few days to dry. A skin forms over it, and then you can paint some more. You can paint over it or whatever. But you better not do that with acrylic. Okay. All right. I dig it. I dig it. Now I'm going to work those sun rays down in here. Then I'll add my finishing touches, and we done up in here. Water reflects everything. We're going to work in a little more, just a little more orange here and there to reflect the sun rays. I am a hobbyist, and I love it, and I'm not, I want to get better and better, but it's not important for me to be an expert at this. It's more important for me to continue to love it. So if that means I'm never an expert, and people have asked me, you know, if I have any interest in being in a gallery, and I know being in a gallery, you get validation from other people, you know, oh, your art is good, but when you monetize things, they change, because then you're doing them for money and not really for fun so much anymore. And I don't want to lose the joy that painting brings me. So I'm very careful about that. But at some point I may put some works up on Etsy. I had a few things up on Etsy years ago, and they did well. Here, I'm going to use the back of this brush. This part is like too smushy right now. And yes, that's the official word, smushy. Because I drew the horizon line over the bottom of the sun when I started, but then I rounded the sun some more. So now the sun is too round. It would be flattened here. So I'm going to go back in and fix that. Because if the perspective is wrong, it throws everything off. Like you'll be looking at a painting and going, something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but something ain't right. It's because your eye knows that that's not what happens in nature. I don't use black very often. I like to mix brown and blue, dark brown, dark blue. And it gets me real close to black, but it's a little more interesting, a little less severe than black is. Black, if you're not careful, it can really overpower a painting. You know, I had that little dark strip up here, and I decided that I would like to add some little rock formations over there. So that's what I'm doing. Let me see, do they show up? They show up a little bit on camera right now. Don't mess it up, Nicole. Okay. So I'm just going back in with a little of this purplish color that I had earlier and adding a highlight here to give it some dimension. Okay. Here, add a little purple to the top of this dark area here. Art is never really done. You just have to stop at some point. Because you always see things that you're like, oh man, I could have done X, Y, Z. Here, I'm putting a little more blue on that water. Then I think I'm done. My hands are a mess. Paint everywhere. Luckily, acrylic does come off your hands pretty easily. But it don't come off of anything else. You get it on your clothes, it's gonna be there forever. No, I don't really like that. It was better without the blue. That's what happens. You keep messing with it and then you end up with something that you don't like. So we're gonna cover that up and then I'm gonna call it curtains on this painting. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure you go on over to my mom's channel, MzBrazell. I'll put a link to her channel in the description box. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I'll show you a photo of the final at the end. I'm gonna let it dry and then I'll take a good photo of it. All right, bye.